Não foi o colonialismo português que destruiu Angola, nem foi o colonialismo português que vos escravizou. Foi a vossa corrupção, foi a corrupção dos vossos governos que destruiu Angola, como destruiu muitos países africanos.
Some people like to say that Portuguese colonialism wasn't that bad in Angola. So let's talk about what really happened, because the facts don't care about nostalgia. Portugal arrives in 1483. Within decades, Angola becomes one of the biggest sources of enslaved Africans in the world. We're talking about millions, yes, millions of Angolans captured, sold, and shipped around the Atlantic. Entire communities wiped out, generations erased, and to me, that does not seem like peaceful colonialism. Correct me if I'm wrong, obviously. By 1575, Portugal sets up in Luanda. And when the other kingdoms retaliated, especially Ndongo and Matamba, they weren't met with diplomacy. They were met with pure military force. Queen Zinga fought her whole life resisting Portuguese invasions. You don't get a queen fighting 40 plus years if colonialism is peaceful. Once again, correct me if I am wrong. After the slave trade was abolished in inverted commas, Portugal simply replaced it with shibalo, which technically was also forced labor that was slavery in all but name. Angolans worked plantations, mines, railroads under violence, starvation, and coercion. So we're talking about coffee, diamonds, rubber. Billions were extracted, but Angola saw none of it. Zero. Okay? So people love to say that Portugal was a kinder colonizer, but in 1961, peaceful protests in Angola were met with massacres. Right? Entire villages were burned, thousands killed. This is the reality. Documented, undeniable. If you ask me once again, that does not seem peaceful to me. The war for independence wasn't some diplomatic conversation. It was a 14-year armed struggle because Portugal refused to give up power. So we had Impela, UNITA, FENILA. In general, Angolans fought, bled, and died for freedom. Today's economic inequality, the urban-rural gap, the language, the borders, so much of Angola's structure was shaped by 500 years of extraction and domination. Yes, you heard that correctly. 500 years. You don't get to shrug that off as if it was some weekend inconvenience. So if anyone says Portuguese colonialism wasn't that bad, remind them that Angola paid with lives, land, culture, and centuries of stolen potential. History doesn't disappear just because an individual becomes uncomfortable with facts. It is one thing to analyze the governance of the leaders of one country, which I believe needs tremendous improvement. But it's another thing to try and downplay history and minimize the impact that colonialism had on this country. That shall not be tolerated. We move on, but we shall not forget.